get my mic over closer to me. There we go. I like it right there.
I like it like
Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Excuse me, head fart.
We didn't hear it. You didn't announce it.
Oh, you got
No,
I just realized that.
I want you to know what happened. Yeah, bro. Bobby had a baby. It's a boy.
Papa Booey, Papa Booey.
What's up, Feasters? Welcome back to another great episode of the Anime Feast. I'm Dominique, and with me, as always, we have my two wonderful co-hosts, the one and only Tawan,
Itadakimasu. What up?
and Matthew.
Oh, Wimo.
Oh, I will.
What up, everybody?
Oh, isn't that what Gojo said? Arrival?
Yeah, that's
my goodness.
I've been saying that for like the past hour. I was like, don't say until the opening. Don't say until the opening. Got it.
So we're ready for that.
Man,
Oh, man.
I wanted to spoil so bad, but I was like, no, it'll be better after they get the reaction.
That was good. That was good. Oh man. Well, Feasters, as you all know, here in the States, a couple weeks back, JJK Movie Zero officially was released. And if you've listened to us at all, you also know that we do enjoy JuJuTsu Kaisen a lot. So, of course, we went to go watch the movie. And we want to come to you guys today with a nice little movie review. You know, we want to talk to you guys about some things we liked, some things we loved, some things we disliked. Probably not too much of the dislike. Probably a ton of the loved and liked. And just kind of, you know, give you guys the good review like Gojo gives good hands.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Like, if we even
That
told
man
you
gave
way too
McDonald's
much.
in that movie.
Camera, yeah, it's
Ridiculous.
But before we dive into that, if you are following us on YouTube or if you're watching us on the YouTube channel right now, be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you get notified when we go live. But yeah, guys, JJK Movie Zero. I remember way long ago when we were reading the early days of JuJuTsu Kaisen and watching it, when, of course, they released Chapter Zero well after, you know, after actual chapters were out. And we got to see, like, we got to read all of that stuff. And now we got to see it animated. How did it feel?
very worth it. Was it? I think that morning I reread the whole Chapter Zero saga just so I can remind myself what's happening. And for at least my opinion, my overall impression of it, the animation is actually probably better than actually reading it. And plus, they throw in a little sprinkle of, if you've seen the show before, they throw some Nanami in there. They throw all the other characters, side characters, Toto, and see like a little bit of tease you, like if you've never seen, like it's a good movie for if you've never even seen JuJuTsu Kaisen.
Besto
like,
friendo.
Yeah, like you get to see all these characters are like, oh, like who are these guys? And it's like, oh, it makes you want to go watch the show. And I think that's what Bree said too. Twan's wife it was like, oh, it kind of makes me want to go see it. Like she'd never seen anything of it before.
Yeah, it was just a great experience. Like, and like Matt said, it's for everybody. Like, you don't have to have a baseline of the story, and it just gets you more excited and hyped for it because you're still learning about curse energy. The animation was just beautiful. Like, it made me think of like K. That's the one me and Dom always refer to when we talk about like
Project.
but like, especially because I read like the most current chapter of JuJuTsu Kaisen when it came out, so like just getting more and more hype for more Okatsu.
Yeah. Okatsu is going ham right now, and this is his preset days, and no, you even get to learn like the structure. Like it's like, oh, like a grade 4, like Maki being grade 4, and it's like, and she's like making fun of Okatsu. He's like, oh, you don't know what curse energy is, and then she checks his card and is like, oh, you're a special grade. It's like, there's only like 10 of these guys out in the world, and you're one of them.
Yeah, she
There's
was like
4
typically.
of them. Well, I think 10 in like the manga right now, but like currently as like current sorcerers, there's like 4.
Before everybody came to existence with the games going on right now, yeah, there weren't many. It was like Gojo and like 2 other people.
Gojo,
Ghetto.
Geto.
Yeah, it was.
Who else?
Was it the principal? Is he
He doesn't make skirt.
Yeah, I don't think their principal's special grade. Maybe he might be.
Maybe it's the
there were a few because homegirl,
Ghetto.
the girl with the scythe, if I'm not mistaken, was special grade. But yeah, they it was very interesting because like obviously guys like chapter 0 for those of you who haven't seen the movie but you watched you read the chapters, just to give you a reminder, it was that we got to meet Yuta and we got to get kind of the story there because we didn't see him a lot in the beginnings of it because with that class, Panda, Maki, and I should know his name because he's the most badass of the three in my opinion. The guy, but he has the speech curse technique.
Inu something.
Inumaki.
Yeah, so like
the speech.
Their classmate was Yuta. Like they were already at JJK. They were already learning about these things from their different families, and obviously because Panda was a cursed doll and whatnot. And Yuta was cursed because he, as a kid, made a promise with this other, young girl that they were going to get married, like on, I think it was his birthday or something, like, and she gave him a wedding ring and was like, when we get older, we're gonna get married. And Yuta agreed, and like, so they really did love each other or whatever as kids. And literally, like, next thing that happens is that she gets her head crushed in by a car. Like, she gets ran over and like straight up just muck ducked right there in front of him. And so what it seemed was that she cursed him because her as a special grade curse was attached to him, and everyone was kind of like, how did she even become a special grade curse? But lo and behold, it was actually that he cursed her because he didn't want to lose her and he didn't want it to be real. And so Yuta summoned Rika and like as a curse, and she was just the most overpowering thing. And so a lot of chapter 0 is about, they're threatening to kill Yuta, like the higher ups are wanting to kill Yuta just like they did with Yuji, because Yuta is cursed with a special great curse. That's like with him that can do it. If it comes to light, it could destroy a lot of things, like he can't control it, yada yada yada. But just like with Yuji, Gojo's kind of there to intervene, and it's like, hey, we're gonna help you out before they kill you, essentially, and brings him in and teaches him about this stuff. And what I really enjoyed about it, and remembered, and like what I remembered pretty much the moment it happened in the movie, was when Yuta was outside of the door trying to think of what to say to the classmates and stuff, and they were already not ready to accept him. And the moment he's like, I loved when they slowed down the animation and his foot slowly, like, he opened the door, his foot slowly went to go touch the ground, and all three of them rushed this motherfucker like, yo, you're cursed, bro.
You're like,
we exercise curses here.
We already don't like you. We already don't like you beforehand, and then when you walk through this door, we definitely don't like you.
Like they felt this big curse on him, and they were like, yeah, son, you about to get this work. But little did they know, Rika not to be fucked with. And Rika was like, don't you bully Yuta, and came out. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. And then he used to be bullied, and he was like, don't do it. Like, he tried to warn his bullies. They ended up in a locker, jumbled up, and
like, oh, they're not hurt that bad. They're still alive. It's like, no, I mean,
pools of blood were leaking from the locker. Them motherfuckers was gone.
Hey, not good. Don't mess. I mean, it really is. The whole movie is really about Akatsu, like, accepting, like, his curse self. And, like, it's just like, oh, like, if you had to deal with this for so many years. But, like, I don't know whether Goto is the best or worst mentor out there.
Gojo?
Yeah, Gojo. Sorry,
you mix Gojo.
Yeah, I mix both of them. Yeah, Gojo. Like, I don't know whether Gojo's best or worst mentor, because yes, he does well, and he actually puts him in situations where it's like, oh, you need to overcome, like, find yourself and become yourself, or he's just doing it just to be a dick. That's like, nothing in between either. It's like even the first episode of JuJuTsu Kaisen, like when Fushiguro is like, he's about to get killed by the monster, Yuji just ate the demon,
finger.
Sukuna's finger.
Yeah, Suguna, thank you. Sukuna's finger, and like he became, and he's like, oh, here, Fushiguro, I was just actually going out souvenir shopping. Hold this for me while I go take care of this in front of you.
I don't know. I feel like Gojo isn't a great mentor because he never teaches anyone anything. Like with Yuta, his classmates taught him everything about curse energy. Maki, Panda, Inumaki.
What?
Like, I think he's talking about curse energy, but he
taught Yuji. He taught Yuji. He gave Yuji the curse doll.
He taught Yuji watched the movie. He's like, oh, come here, I
feel like he didn't really explain anything.
He taught / had Yuji learn how to deal with, like, release enough curse energy to keep that doll asleep, then watch a movie. So he made him learn that way with curse energy. And then he taught him domain expansions, or he taught him the principles behind domain expansions and how you can defeat one and yada, yada, yada. He didn't teach him how to create domain expansions, but he definitely taught him how they work and how to beat one. So he's teaching. I agree, though. He ain't teach Yuta shit. He 100% didn't tell anybody about Yuta's situation or Yuta about any of their situations. And unfortunately, because Maki was about to die, that brought out, like, and she brought a bit more out of Yuta with the simplest "Why are you here?" bullshit. And then obviously being with the speech tech, the speech curse user, and having to, like, again, help him out.
Awesome.
Like that was another reason that he had to, like, to grow and mature, is because he had to learn that. And then obviously at the end of it all with Geto, it was literally all of his friends were about to die. So, like, man the fuck up and let's get it.
Yeah. Also the fact that he just put that fucking work into Geto, and you finally kind of get to see, as like with what's going on in the manga, like the actual root of his power and like what he can actually do, which is essentially a copycat. Like,
but he has to see, like, he has to, like, almost do like Hunter x Hunter style, like Frollo style. Like, he has to meet conditions in order before he can steal.
We don't know the conditions.
Yeah. Even
that's
like,
which is what's blowing the people's minds in the current manga. I don't want to get into the current manga really, but that's what's blowing their minds, is that, like, they were like, there are conditions. What are the conditions? Because no one, like, because he does it so quick that everyone's like, what the fuck are the conditions? But yeah, he I liked it though because, like, you know, as we know, Shibuya. There we go. I'm like about to say Kitsune, Shishabaki, whatever we were talking about earlier, whatever type of root we were talking about at the beginning of this episode.
That's right. The root beer flavoring of sassafras.
That incident's about to occur, and we meet other Ghetto followers there. So it was cool to see them again now, especially because we know, like, what they can actually do. And obviously in Chapter 0, in the movie 0, we don't see any of that really, but we do get to, we know what they have. So it was cool to see them all again. So I could be like, oh, okay, so you're you who does this, and you're you who's going to do this. So I really enjoyed that. And I'm intrigued about it going forward. I honestly, knowing what they can do from the from the incident, Jesus, I feel like Tawan saying Hashiras.
The sassafras incident.
I know. I was going to say, like, Hashirama. He's not the first Hokage from Naruto.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, apparently we all have our word. Apparently, mine is that one. I'm not even trying to. Nope, fuck it.
Shibuya.
What's crazy is that, like,
it's like
Shibuya roll call. Like, that's a thing from, like, grade school, but I can't say it. Okay, I'm messing up right now. I'm like Shashlanka. So, like, I do find it funny there, like, knowing what they did in the Shibuya incident compared to like how afraid people were of them in the movie. I'm kind of like, they sucked. Some of them really sucked in the Shibuya. Like, they were easy to beat. So, like, why y'all had such a hard time, like, 40v5ing these people? Because it was only like, I mean, I understand there were also so many curses that Geto released, but the actual curse users or whatever, the sorcerers that were also there, that should have been easy work outside of the one that Gojo was fighting. Easy work.
God, that fight with Gojo and Miguel was so fucking good. One, the fact that Gojo was like during his fight and a curse, like a giant curse is coming up. Honestly, that giant curse reminded me of a hollow from Bleach, like one of those like I can't remember what they call them, but you know the ones, like the
Yeah,
big tall ones.
yeah.
And he just sent, well, I think it was just like a red ball at him and just destroyed him. It's like, I ain't got time for this.
Yep.
And he's fighting Miguel with that. Miguel's using that rope, and he's
Rope.
like, you know how long it took people to make this, and you're just destroying it. And he's
How many
like, that's not my problem.
centuries it took.
It's
It
like
was a
And
long ass
Gojo
process.
just
and then Gojo just coming in and just 45 piecing him. And you're like, man, that's disrespectful. But I was so there for that fight.
The
That was my
beauty
favorite
of
fight.
the good hands Gojo gave that man.
Like, he's not even using his curse technique. He's just
You
hands to
love-
face,
I
body.
love
boxing, boy. It was
Yeah,
boxing, my man.
I love Miguel's like before reaction. He's like, I was like, oh, he really can't be that tough. Like we always forget because like especially in the manga because something does happen to Gojo that definitely has playing on. But like we forget how much Gojo is that overpowered compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, and that fight redeems Gojo's stance. And I don't know why I had the stupid meme in my because I think I watched it yesterday on the reel, like one of the reels on Instagram. Yes, I'm a real guy, not a TikTok guy, so I'm 3 months behind, but whatever. The was it
As long as you know.
but it's like when, every time Gojo came on screen, it's like, oh, hello, daddy. And every time we talk about Gojo, I'm just like that reel in my head is like, it's like, daddy, yeah. It's like,
uh,
Oh man.
it's in my
like
head.
there was not one moment in that movie where like I was frustrated or upset, and I was just hyped the entire time. Anytime a fight came on, but just I'm Yuta has to be one of my favorite characters in the series. Like just his calm, cool demeanor, and Rika. I'm usually not a copycat, like a fan of copycat powers, but he just does it so well.
Well, the good thing as well is that you/we didn't learn that his curse technique was copy until like 2 weeks ago. So it was very easy to understand that we could still cheer him on and just be like, oh my God, you are so very badass, because we didn't know his technique until it was talked about 2 weeks ago. Like until someone was like, oh my God, it's copy. Like, so it isn't like we knew that he was copy and we kind of were like fuck him from the jump or whatever. It was like he was badass, and clearly he's showing like he doesn't just do that. Like he's doing it in his fights
Yeah.
right now, but like especially in the movie and stuff, he was just fighting. Like straight
Yeah,
up.
He's still learning himself.
I mean, well,
Yeah,
he
because
did at one point do a copy technique, but outside of that,
yeah, the copy technique was using the speech
yeah,
because he had like a
the
megaphone that came
megaphone,
out, but
get
Rika,
crushed.
yeah, Rika was
Also,
really
like
just
he like put his hand
overpowered.
over his mouth. Sorry, he put his hand over his mouth, and then like you see man, we're
Little
forgetting
dot.
his name.
The symbol.
Inumaki.
Yeah, Inumaki. Inumaki's like symbols all across his mouth is like, it's like, oh, there's something about him.
Yeah, and then like Rika, she's just an unlimited like fountain of curse energy that just feeds to him. Not to mention she has like a powered up level too. But honestly, it'd be cool to see him and Gojo fight.
Because I think even like the chapter 0 beforehand, like we think like yes, he has a special grade, like he's special grade sorcerer, but it's more because we think Rika is actually a special grade, giving him the special grade status, not actually.
I mean, I
Yuta.
think that is it. Like, I feel like if it was just his copy technique, he would probably be a tier 1 or like a class 1
I don't
sorcerer.
think so.
But
I mean that copy is so powerful, man, and
that's
he used
like
it in the right way as a power.
like Nanami, his like 7-3, like it's a critical hit every time he hits 7-3, and he does it damn near every time. Like, but it also depends. Like, if he were able to copy Geto or Gojo's technique, does he just have access to both of them? Which I didn't think that would make it a S grade, but without those two curse techniques, I don't think it would be an S rank. Because most sorcerer techniques aren't even that great, in my opinion.
I think it's also the fact that I think it's the amount of curse energy that is also what makes you a certain rank. Because
Yeah.
again, like he still didn't even uncover his stuff, and he was given an S grade rank by the sorcerers and stuff. So I think a very strong part of it is how much curse energy you do have. And then obviously how you can control it and whatever technique you make and stuff like that. Because right now we know Megami is damn sure going to become like there's no way I don't see Megami also getting like an S rank at some point. Like that man is out of this world with his techniques and stuff. But right now he was like a grade 3, right? So
Gosh, that's crazy. He was a grade 3. He should be at least grade 2. Like
yeah.
those shadows are, I don't know. The shadows are overpowered and underpowered at the same time, just because like they don't seem like they can take that much damage, but he's very resourceful in how he uses them.
Yeah, and it's a technique that is rare in everything else, like things just like Gojo. So what I also find very interesting right now about a lot of this is that Gojo understood like because as they were trying to also remember they were trying to figure out why Rika was an S rank, curse. They're like, why the hell is she S rank? Like, what about this random girl allowed her to be an S rank demon or curse? And come to find out, it was because Yuta cursed her, not her cursing Yuta. And Yuta is a distant relative of Gojo's family, like that clan. So that makes like that also explains why he has so much cursed energy and cursed and everything else. So it's interesting that like we have that with Yuta. Yuta's an S rank or S class, and then you have what was talked about very early on with Megami about the one like previous years with the Six Eyes person that was fought in the big battle there, and the only person like the person that was able to I guess fight them on par was someone who had the Shadow Curse technique thing like Megami, which is why Sukuna wants Megami. So it's very interesting to me like what all still going to happen in that aspect of stuff. But that's theorizing. Back to the movie. Animation in the movie was amazing. I mean, animation sound in the movie is always amazing, but yeah, like I'm also curious as to because when Geto showed up, he to announce to JuJuTsu Kaisen, we're doing this on Halloween, and be there or be square, but this is what we're doing. And Gojo kind of like walked up on him to separate him from Yuta because he should have tried to recruit Yuta. But when Gojo said, I kind of went in between them, and Geto and them were like, "Oh, we're peacing out," and Gojo was going to stop him, and Geto was like, "You know better. Your students are within my range." And I guess we did kind of see a bunch of curses show up right then and there, but like, I'm still curious as to how/why, like, what is his actual range, and how did Gojo still not go after them then? Because like if your range is whatever the distance may be, right? We already know Gojo can cover whatever distance he wants to as quickly as he wants to. So when Geto flies off in his cursed bird and he is out of the range of the students, why didn't Gojo just instantly show up there and be like, "What up, bitch? You out of the range now?" and like throw some hands or something?
Oh no, I think it's because Gojo still has a soft spot for Geto because that is his best friend, and like that's the only reason I can see. Otherwise, like Gojo would be. I mean, he is very reckless, but like that's the only reason I could see him not pursuing it further. Just like how like when he walked up on Geto at the end and was like, "All right, best friend."
It's like I know you want to eradicate all the humans, but I still consider you like the closest person to me.
Yeah, they were best friends to the end.
Oh man, so much shit
happens. Is a friend to the end of the end. That's forever.
Oh man, but yeah, I very much enjoyed like all the fights. Obviously, it's a lot of fighting that does happen once the battle once the curses are released and everything. Geto is extremely smart in how he tricked everyone to being like, "Yeah, we're gonna attack here." Just kidding. I'm getting you all the way from Yuta so I can take Rika from Yuta. Like I lied to you about because because as he said like they still thought that he like the lie he gave about his curse technique they still believed all those years later where they thought like if the person the curse can't be attached to anyone in order for him to take the curse. And he was like, that's actually not true. Especially if I kill the person, I can take the curse. So that was very interesting. And as we knew, his end goal was to try to get his hands on Rika. So I thought that was like a very smart ploy on him to get a one-on-one. But he didn't expect Maki to still be back there because obviously Maki couldn't do shit at that point. She could, but she couldn't. And
True. I remember
man,
what did Maki say that was like made me look at each other in the movies like, oh, you don't know yet. Like she's like, oh, I want to take over the family.
oh
Eventually.
yeah, it was something like it was something about taking all those bastards down, and I was like,
Ah, gosh, manga Maki is
mm,
that bitch. Like,
I cannot fucking wait.
It's like I want to get my revenge on my family somehow. It's like oh you do.
gosh, and it like I could only imagine if we only watched the anime and never read the manga, or like backwards or forwards to see chapter 0, or go forward to see like Yuta again, and just to see Toto talk about Yuta and being like, no one here is really worth fighting except Yuta, and you're like, who the fuck is Yuta? And now you know why. Like the hype around Yuta is so big and so much. Honestly, I would go see that movie again. It was that good. Like
Yeah,
I'd pay money to go see it again because it was that. Uh, and then I was seeing like people like debating between Chapter 0 and Mugen Train, which was better. And I was like, really? Like Jujutsu Kaisen won that easy for me.
Mugen Train,
yeah,
like that dream sequence was just so somber. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
you
It
easily
really,
fall asleep too because we kind of closed our eyes a little bit during that part.
it really does come down to like one, which anime do you like more? Like which one are you into more? And the full recency bias. Like we just saw JJK. I know we also like JJK. Lots of fighting in that compared to some people who really just like Demon Slayer a lot more than any other anime right now. And so for them, Mugen Train's top notch because it's the movie of the show they liked more, and they didn't even give JJK a watching or
A fair
whatever.
chance.
Yeah, but like because again, like both were great. Animation styles great, different animation styles, and there was more like beauty to Demon Slayer, but man, the sequences in JJK were just something else.
Gosh, it just hit. It just kept hitting. They're like,
Especially when you two like finally like Gojo couldn't make it back in time. Well, he could, but he needed to deal with everything going on in the city, so he sent back Panda and Inumaki to help out Maki and Yuta, and they got worked in front of Yuta, and you see Yuta kind of like finally come to terms with himself, and it's finally like it's time. Like I need to do this, and like that just that change in Yuta and how like when he summoned Rika and we got to see him put the curse take like the curse on the sword and the animation slowed down with Rika popping up behind him and him putting the curse on the sword and the gravel breaking up. It was like,
So good.
let's fucking
go.
go! Let's go!
If we weren't just in recliner chairs, we would stand up and in a crowd theater stand up and
Oh
just
my
like let's
God.
get these.
Yeah, if it wasn't where we were you got to be like quiet the whole time and shit. If it was like, because I saw a video of people who were going crazy in a different theater. Like if it was a smaller theater with a certain crowd, absolutely would have lost my shit there. Oh my God, because I mean, and then like we said, we got to see Gojo in Miguel's good hands, and then we got to see Yuta giving that work to Geto, because Geto thought that this boy doesn't really know much. He doesn't know me. He doesn't like he has this curse, but really it's just the curse that I have to worry about. I don't got to worry about Yuta. I got to worry about Rika. And Yuta was like, "Bitch, you thought."
You thought you had to worry about her? You got to worry about me.
I'm the real problem
Yeah,
here.
let me show you what's up, ho.
Man, it's just so weird because like the series was actually meant to be about Utah. But yeah, like that's why Chapter 0, like he the author, I'm forgetting his name right now. I feel shitty. But he made Chapter 0 well before even like Yuji, and then like he's like, oh, like I can add more characters. It'll just make more sense. But I can also still have Yuta as a side character and a badass character at the end of it too.
I don't know. I just really enjoyed how they did it as well. Like that this was like a prequel. I do like that it was different from Demon Slayer in that sense, where it wasn't just something that was going to come up next. It wasn't necessary information to keep the story going, but it was just very well put together. And
Akutami.
Utami?
Akutami is the author.
Ubami?
Gigi Akutami.
Ubami?
Oh, I know.
Oh my.
It is very. I also just remember there was a part in the show where, you know, Gojo had talked to the higher ups, and so he had on his glasses and his hair was down, and then he went to the students and they were like, "Who the hell are you?"
Like, who's a stranger who's talking to us like he knows us? Just like they never see his eyes, like they don't know what his eyes look like. He's always in a blindfold and hair up. His hair's down, and you can see actually look at him, and it's like,
I'm your kawaii professor.
Like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, don't you recognize me? Like, I'm your teacher. He's like, we've never seen you in my life.
Never seen you a day in my life. Oh, you can just treat your teacher like that?
Well, yes.
Oh man. But God, was there anything like in the movie though that you didn't like or would have wanted to see differently?
Nah, 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend.
Matt?
I'm trying to think. Just I guess the scene with like the crap, I'm forgetting his name, Itamami, with the speech guy, like with the him going to the store to get the throat spray. I mean, he knew he'd fight. I mean, just put in your pocket. He has so many pockets, and like you have to carry the bag and wanting to go into the mall. That's the only thing.
But I feel like it made it a thing, like, so you had to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, why is he buying throat spray?
I mean, because Yuta asked the same question, like, why did you need to stop for throat spray? And it also brings in the importance because, like, when we saw that it was knocked out of his hand before he'd even fucking use it and was stuck under the curse, Yuta had to step up to help him get his spray back. So, like, that was a little bit of some coolness there.
It was cool, but I mean, that's such a small plot point of how great this movie. But that's my only complaint. And even the manga, like I said, I've read beforehand, but like it's like, yes, he goes to the store. I mean, he has like 12,000 pockets on the side of him. Like, just put in your pocket. Like, why do you have to carry a plastic bag? Sit the earth. Bring your own bag.
I can agree to that. I think some of the dumb tropes are things like that, where someone has a small item that is very important to them, and somehow, some way, something knocks it out of their hand, and they can't get it anymore. You're just like, what the fuck was the point here? This is all stupid to me. But
they're in the mall. Like, they probably have a store in the mall. He didn't have to go buy towards whatever.
I mean, the mall.
Like I said, that's the only complaint.
I understand he had to go buy it, but yeah.
Why doesn't he just have it? Like, he knows he uses his curse.
Well, he probably goes out to buy it every time before he goes to a fight, so he has a fresh supply on him. Because I mean, you see that he drinks like the whole fucking bottle.
Yeah.
Like
Dayquil's water to him.
Yeah, he threw that whole thing back. He was like, "Get crushed." Yeah, I like. Overall, great. I think my one thing is the fact that since they did choose to show us the other school and their students, they should have dedicated roughly 5 minutes to allowing us to see those techniques, or show, because they showed the chick on the umbrella kind of doing some reconnaissance. They showed the guy that shoots the arrows and has like the blood stuff. They showed a little bit of him shooting some arrows. I think they showed, is it May? Is that Maki's sister, May?
I think so. MAI.
Yeah, I think they showed her. They didn't they showed her shoot something. They showed the one who made. They showed the robot, and they showed the blue-haired chick who made the small new type of domain do a quick attack, and then they just showed Toto showing up. So it's kind of like, I wish I would have given a little bit more there. Like they brought it in, and it was kind of like, great, and I'm glad you are showing that, hey, these are other sorcerers that you are going to want to know later. If you're showing them, thank you. Like, then show it all, or like show enough. Like, let me see Let me see, because it cut off after they showed up, and we got to finally see the one we were all waiting for. Toto came in last. We were all like, "Oh, Toto's here!" And then a big ass curse, looking like fucking Droll from Seven Deadly Sins, the big old giant. That motherfucker showed up around the corner, and the next thing you know, they were like in pan to a different fight. We no longer see them for the rest of the time, and I was like,
I
"Let me
disagree.
let me see a little bit of that."
I disagree. I think they just showed enough to be like, oh, it's like if you're interested, like you got to go watch a series just so you know who these people are. Because everybody, like, if you see them beforehand, you're like, oh, it's like, oh, we know what's about to happen. But if you've never seen it, it's like, who the hell are these guys, kind of thing. And I think it was just enough tease for who they are.
Yeah,
That's why I said just 5 minutes. So I don't want to see a full fight. Just give me like 5 minutes. Give me like 5. Let everybody. Yeah.
There's plenty of time in the manga and in the actual show. You can see all that happen.
Like you're just gonna dangle this carrot in front of me?
Yeah, get me off the treadmill. Give me a motherfucking.
And I thought Nanami, like, he only helped Yuji. I didn't, like, I know he helps them, like, the sorcerers out every once in a while, but I thought he was, like, strictly a businessman, and, like, he only does it if he's, like, specifically asked. So I thought, like, him,
he's
like,
normal.
when he was in the movie, I love Nanami.
I mean,
yeah, he's a normal sorcerer.
But no, but I thought his, like, full-time job was to be, like, in the real world and, like, actually trying to help society and not be a part of the sorcerer world.
I mean, I think he helped. Like anytime, like he's called in is when they call for like any grade 1 sorcerers, and that honestly happens a lot more than it should. I feel like, but yeah, like I don't know. I feel he's well established in the sorcerer community as well. So yeah, he's out there all the time. But they gotta pay it. Well, his power increases, during overtime. But
what were you?
Yeah, he goes in OT, gets fired up.
What were your guys' favorite? What was your favorite part of the movie?
That Gojo, Miguel fight.
Someone's like, I love them good hands.
Like, there's a TikTok of it, and there's like a different sound behind it, and I've watched it like for a good 10-20 minutes straight, and just like it's just such a good fight. And then probably Yuta fighting Geto after that. And Lux Rika and with his curse technique on the sword. Yeah. All about that.
I did really enjoy the quick the quick little panel of Gojo and Miguel. Like that was interesting, especially because you do think about how powerful and OP Gojo is, but he had to fight Miguel for a long time, and he kind of couldn't leave. Like, and even when they all just showed up, he immediately knew the one to worry about was Miguel. He was like, that guy's gonna be a problem. And so, like, I think that's interesting, and I want to learn. I want to learn more about Miguel, especially with how the post credit scene. So I want to learn more about Miguel. Like, I really do want to learn more about him, because I don't remember seeing him in the Shibuya incident, nor in what's going on right now. So I need to know more about that person. But I think just really seeing the Yuta Geto stuff was probably my favorite. Just having Yuta fully come to an understanding. Sorry, that's Kara's thing. She's gonna ignore that. Sorry, but having Yuta like step up and come to an understanding of who he was and what he really needed to do, and actually commit to, I cursed Rika. I need to defend and protect my friends and use my power in a good way, and also kind of like release Rika type of stuff. Like all of that to me was like the best part. Like that whole last 20 minutes of it.
It's like, I don't know. I think one of my favorite parts is when Yuta's being introduced to the class, and like it's like he's everybody, and Gojo is Gojo is explaining everybody's like little quirks, and he's like, oh yeah, and this is just Panda. And he's like, well, I'm most curious about him, but he didn't explain like that.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that part, and then also actually the beginning, because the beginning is like how we're introduced to Yuji. He just wakes up in the room, and that's how they start off with Yuta. Also, it's like oh, good morning. Like you're in big shit. You're in big trouble shit right now. He's like I don't
yeah,
even know
that
why.
room
I
with
don't
all
know
those
why I'm
like
here.
cursed seals and stuff.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I said the room with all those cursed seals,
Mhm.
so his power doesn't get out.
Yep. Man, it's just such a great opening, and then it's like oh, like why is this guy here? And like it's all that, and it's like oh, now we're about to dive into the series. Like you don't even know the half of it yet.
Gosh, now I'm just hyped. I want to listen to the opening, and I just want to watch the whole show again now, just talking about it.
Yeah, I'm very much ready for one for the Shibuya incident for season 2 to come out so we can see that stuff go down because as we know, some shit's gonna hit the fan here coming up. And on top of that, more chapters to go ahead and come out so that I can very much enjoy. Sorry, here. Very, so we can very much enjoy more Yuta. I mean, he's putting in our work right now. So this is just again was the perfect time for the movie to come out. The movie fit around him to come out at a point in time where he's just showing us how incredibly powerful he is in the manga. So like it's all timed perfectly for us in the States. Very much loving it. Well, guys, for those of you who haven't watched the movie yet, we do implore you to please go out and watch it. If it's still out in theaters around you, definitely do it. I can see them doing this like they did Mugen Train, where it'll be released to Crunchyroll or Funimation or some other site for you to watch when season 2 comes out. So please do watch it when you can, if you can, and be prepared for just more fantasticness from Yuta. And just an overall great anime and manga in JuJuTsu Kaisen. Um, outside of that, fellas.
See you guys next time.
Go to close off this stuff. I can't even remember it.
Stay hungry, my friends.
Yeah, stay hungry.
Peace.
Brain fart.